Bulletproof Radio, a state of high performance.
I'd love to get your opinion, because I mean, you're a heavy-duty brain guy, and I read a book a while ago that described how one of the functions of the brain is to predict the future a microsecond in advance, and then only notice what doesn't match. Do you ascribe to that?
Yeah, they say we render 80% of our reality. That's where that comes from. So we're rendering actually the sides. That's why we have what they call a stigtoma in psychology, which means it's based after a Bible quote where when Jesus said, you can't see the sin in another with a stick in your eye. So psychology took it and said, that's where you go to find the salt shaker in the kitchen, and your wife or husband says, hey, the salt's out there. And you say, no, it isn't. And then they finally come out and they say, here it is. You didn't render it.
Interesting.
And just like that happens in business all the time for entrepreneurs. They don't see opportunities because they become so fixated and myopic in what they're doing. They don't see all the other opportunities. So so part of what we're doing is we're widening that scope, because once you start to let the brain process, and I think that, and Deepak Chopra said this like 20 years ago, he said, 97% of what's going to happen to you tomorrow, you know about today. So most people have to think, what am I pretending not to know? We got this globally world-class brain that can do incredible things for us, but they don't listen to it. They don't.
Yeah, you reminded me of Jack Canfield. We did an interview about parenting, and his kids say, I don't know. And he goes, well, if you did know, what would the answer be? And
That's
his
right.
kids answer.
Exactly.
It was one of the best lines ever. I've used it on my kids, and it just makes them mad, but it's still worth using on my kids.
Right. What if you pretended you did know? What if you couldn't fail? That's where those questions came from. People have figured out, hey, the brain works best in an opportunity state. When it's in a fear state or a very limited state, the brain, there could be a great opportunity there. And I could tell you hundreds of stories about that. But when people, mostly when you go to a friend and maybe you're having a problem, you talk to a friend, you go, wow, why didn't I think of that? It was something really simple maybe. And you go, that's because you were so myopic and your brain was so fixated on your own solution, you didn't see the other solutions that were there. So we call it the quantum gap. Okay. If you think of quantum physics, because we live in a particle reality, but there's also this wave reality, right? That works in consciousness. So with consciousness being the underlying reality, there's infinite possibilities. But if you come in with a limited possibility, like an addiction, that's a limited possibility, like let's say smoking or drinking, any problem happens, the brain automatically goes to that one solution because that's what they think is the best. But if you come with kind of what they call like the Zen mind, where they call the beginner's mind, you don't know what to expect, so you're open to infinite possibilities. So that's kind of what we're looking for.